Very good morning, students. So in our today's module we will be discussing about the chapter How the Dog Found Himself a Master. So before you read the chapter, you may know that the dog and the wolf are closely related. You may also know something about how over the centuries human beings have domesticated and tamed wild animals. Here is a story about how the dog became a tame animal. Dogs were once their own master and lived the way wolves do, that is, in freedom. Until a dog was born who was ill pleased with this way of life. So there was a dog who was born and he was ill pleased with the way of life he used to live. Ill pleased means he was not happy with this way of life. So he was sick and tired. He was really sick and tired of wandering about by himself looking for food. So he has to look for the food, fine, and being frightened of those who were stronger than he. He thought it over and decided that the best thing for him to do, so finally he decided that the best thing for him to do was to become the servant of one who was stronger than anyone on earth. So the best thing, he has finally got his solution, and he has got the solution to his problem, that to become the servant of one who was stronger than anyone on earth, and he set out to find such a master. So now he was in search to find out that master. He walked and he walked and he met a kinsman of his. So, children, he walked and finally he met a kinsman of his. Kinsman means a relative of his, and that is a big wolf who was as strong as he was fierce. "Where are you going, dog?" the wolf asked. So, the wolf asked to dog, "Where are you going, dog?" So dog replied, "I'm looking for someone to take up service with. Would you like to be my master, wolf?" So he asked to wolf that would he like to be his master. "I don't see why not," the wolf said. And this agreed upon. The two of them went on together. So the wolf finally agreed to this, that he will be the master of dog. They walked and all of a sudden the wolf lifted his nose, sniffed, darted quickly off the path and into the bushes and crept deeper into the forest. So, children, they were walking, and while walking, all of a sudden the wolf lifted his nose, sniffed, and he moved quickly off the path. Upon this, the dog was surprised. "What comes over you, master?" he asked. "What has frightened you so?" So the wolf was surprised and he was frightened. So dog asked him that what has frightened you so? "Can't you see there is a bear out?" So there is a bear out there and he might eat up both of us, you and me. So children, there was a great bear and Wolf was frightened from that bear, and he said that he might eat up both of us, that is, you and me. Seeing that the bear was stronger than the wolf, the dog decided to take up service with him because he wanted a master who was stronger than anyone on earth. But here the wolf was frightened from the bear. So, seeing that the bear was frightened than the wolf, the dog decided to take up service with him, and he left the wolf and asked the bear to be his master. So, children, the bear agreed to this readily and said, "Let us go and find a herd of cows. I'll kill a cow and then we can both eat our fill." So bear and wolf together, they the bear said that let us go and find a herd of cows. We'll both eat and uh, fill with will fill our stomach. They walked on and soon saw a herd of cows. But just as they were about to come up to it, they were stopped by a terrible noise. The cows were mooing. The cows were mooing loudly and running in a panic in all directions. So, children, all the cows, they were mooing. Mooing is the sound of cow, and they were mooing very loudly, and they were running in a panic in different direction. So the bear looked out from behind a tree, and then he too ran hastily deeper into the forest. So bear was also frightened. He got frightened from the this mooing sound of the cows. So bear, he looked out from behind a tree, and then he too ran very fastly deeper into the forest. Now, why did I have to come here? Said he to the dog. It is the lion who rules the forest in these parts. So, children, the sound was somewhere. They got to know that the sound was of lion. So, the lion, who is he? Don't you know he's the strongest beast on earth? So, bear said to wolf that don't you know he's the strongest beast on earth? Well, then I'll say goodbye to you, bear. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth. So, finally, he left the bear also because he was in search of finding a good master, the powerful master. And off the dog went to ask the lion to be his master. The lion agreed to it. And the dog stayed with him and served him for a long, long time. It was a good life, and he had nothing to complain of, for there was no stronger beast in the forest than the lion. So he was very happy that he was living with the lion because the lion was the strongest beast on our children. And no one dared touch the dog or offend him anyway. But one day, the two of them were walking side by side along a path that ran amid bare cliffs. So it was just like a cliff. Cliff is a steep, high rock, children, often at the edge of the sea, just like a kai. When all of a sudden the lion stopped, he gave a great roar. So, children, when all of a sudden the lion stopped, he gave a great roar and struck the ground angrily with his paw with such force that a hole formed there. Then he began to back away very quietly. And why he did that? What is it, master? Is anything wrong? So dog asked the master, that is the lion, that what is it, master? Is anything wrong? The dog was very surprised. I smell a man coming this way. So lion said that I smell a man coming this way. The lion said, we would better run for it or we will be in trouble. So ultimately the lion was scared from the man, and he said that we would better run for it, otherwise we'll be in trouble. Oh, well, then I will say goodbye to you, lion. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth. And off the dog and off the dog went to join the man, and he stayed with him and served him faithfully. This happened long, long ago, but to this day the dog is man's most loyal servant and knows no other master. So this was the chapter, children, that this is how the dog found himself a master. So I hope you have got this chapter and understood it well. A very interesting chapter, children. Now we will be doing the question answers for this chapter. So, children, if we talk about this chapter, Small Glimpse, the dog was unhappy with his way of life, right? And he wanted a master who could look after his needs and was the strongest on earth. He chose a wolf, a bear, and a lion as his masters respectively, but finally decided to stay with man, who he found stronger than anyone on earth. To this day, the dog is man's most loyal servant and knows no other master. I hope you have understood the chapter, children. Now we'll be discussing the question answers of this chapter in our next module. Thank you.